This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
Self-love, guys. We're going to talk about that today. How to fill the empty hole in your heart with self-love. And I want to ask you, have you ever found yourself searching for something to fill an empty hole in your heart? Do you turn to new purchases, the Amazon app, eBay, clothes? Do you have more clothes than you have closet? How about exercise? Are you one of those that turn to exercise to kind of like, well, the gym is my sanctuary and I can just drop everything? Are you dropping everything? Are you using that in a positive way, or are you using it to ignore what you're actually feeling inside of yourself? And that just becomes an excuse, because a gym can be just as much as an excuse as eating fast food or Netflix binging. And I'm not opposed to any of those things. I think in moderation, all of that is good. If you want to take a Sunday off or a Saturday off or a Tuesday or Wednesday and you work 6 days a week and you want to take one day off and just binge Netflix because you love watching shows, awesome. Schedule that. Plan that. Make that your special day. If you want to I have a cheat meal every single week. I eat consistent, and then on the cheat meal, and I've actually found I lose weight that way. My body, Tim Ferriss talks about that in his book, amazing book. I think it's like the 48-hour body or something like that. If you just type in Tim Ferriss and type in body, you'll get the book. But do we turn to exercise, new purchases, even relationships, trying to find some happiness, trying to feel that emptiness again with another person? For a lot of us, we do this with work, don't we? For me, this is a big one. Me doing this with work in the sense of I have this unresolved issue in my personal life. I don't want to freaking deal with it. So instead, I'll do a 12-hour day today. These unresolved issues that are laying at the heart of you breaking through as a leader, you breaking through as a person and creating success through being self-aware. And that's what I talk about. That's what this podcast is all about. Things that I'm learning, things that you're learning, we pull it together, this group consciousness of self-awareness, and we begin to puzzle piece our mind and begin to understand, oh yeah, we do have a higher self. Oh yeah, when I rely on that, my higher self, I seem to be able to easily work through problems. I don't get so emotionally and so upset. So what is learning to love yourself? So what is true self-love? This is what it is. Very, very simple. Accepting and embracing everything you feel and experience inside. No resistance. That's the problem. Going to the gym or going through the drive-thru because you feel like shit, so you're going to eat shitty food, is you ignoring something. Is you pushing your way from something. Is you not wanting to feel and experience what's inside, so you use something external. Sadhguru says, if you don't follow him on Instagram, I encourage you guys to. He's great. Sadhguru says, you don't need to read any books. The book is in you. You have all the answers. And I love that. It's so true. By being more self-aware, by accepting and embracing every single thing that happens to us, and just understand, everything that we do is leading us to learn to love. Let me say that again. Everything that you do, everything that you feel, every experience you've ever had in your life is teaching you to learn to love. That's what they are. They're learning lessons of love. And when you use external things to escape from that learning lesson, it may be a temporary fix. It's like putting a Band-Aid on, but it's not going to heal. In time, it may. And in time, you may gain some self-awareness on it. You can ignore it, and then finally your brain will process, your subconscious will process it on its own, the trauma. But if you have sadness, if you have emptiness, those are things that a lot of people tend to resist. And the more you resist them, the more they want your attention. The ego's like, you're resisting me. You need to surrender to me. I've got your back. I know everything. I'm your ego. Don't rely on that other guy, the higher self that has eternal wisdom. Don't rely on him. You rely on me. I've kept you alive for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however old you are. I've kept you alive, and I'm the go-to person. You believe everything that I say because I'm the ego, and I'm here to protect you. All that other crap, that's not the real you, Jason. This is the real you. You're fearful, you're afraid, you're sad, you're empty, you're depressed, and I'm going to comfort you. That's what the ego wants to do, just mass amounts of comfort to the point of killing you. That's what the ego will do. If you fully give into your ego, you're going to be monsterly obese because all you'd want to do is just stay at home and eat. You're going to have zero money, zero happiness. And if you fully give it into your ego, the anger, the rage, all that, then you'll probably wind up in prison or dead. It wants your attention. Depression, sadness, emptiness, all of that wants your attention. When you decide to say, you know what? I'm going to learn to love myself. And I'm going to turn towards the difficult emotions. And I'm going to comfort myself just as a small child who feels upset. I'm going to do the same thing. And I do this all the time. Let me give you a self-aware example here. Like the other day, I woke up, I was feeling a little depressed. It's like, why am I feeling depressed? Oh, my cheat meal. So I had a ton of, when I eat bad and have a ton of carbs, that's what creates depression for me. Now, this is just for me. I don't know about you, but fixing my gut biome with probiotics and eating low carb, almost keto, that cured my depression. Taking vitamin D helps a lot. And this is just for me. Like I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't give medical advice. I'm just telling you what works for me. I tried a lot of different things, and a lot of different things didn't work. But this works. I have to work 3 to 4 times a week, exercise, so I got a trainer to hold me accountable. So between the vitamin D, between the exercising, between getting good sleep, making sure that I'm getting 6 to 9 hours of sleep, and between eating clean and good and not having a lot of carbs, that cured my depression. But the other day I just woke up and I was kind of feeling bummed out, and I was like, oh, I had my cheat meal and I ate a ton of carbs. I had pizza and all kinds of stuff. Oh, this is why. Okay, so I'm self-aware enough I'm not just giving into the emotion like, oh my God, I'm going to have such a bad day today. I woke up and I'm so depressed. I can't even get out of bed. I'm just going to lay here and go back to sleep. No, I recognize. I said, oh, it's the cheat meal. Okay, I just need to get back on track. That's all it is. It was just that. I'm going to go make some coffee and we're going to get to work. I'll listen to some happy music, get some good songs out there, go to the gym, and I'll be right as rain in a few hours. No worries. That sense of emptiness or sadness within your heart or chest will not be filled by external things. The only way is to shift your focus from chasing happiness on the outside to filling the hole in your heart from within. That is the only answer to fill it. It's from within. Identify and resolving difficult emotions you may have been pushing away for years and changing negative beliefs into positive ones. This is the way to fix this, guys. You need to ask yourself. This is difficult, guys. This is a big one. What have I not resolved from the past? What emotions, difficult emotions am I having from the past? Write them down. And then on the top of the paper, write, this is my ego protecting me. These emotions are not real. I write that all the time. If I'm going to write out some stuff, it's just my ego. And a lot of times, and science has proven this, the past is silly anyways. Why you say it's silly, Jason? It's not really silly. It was traumatizing. We don't remember the story completely. And science has proven this. When we tell the story to others, we make ourselves even more of a victim. It's like when somebody breaks up. And then, 2 years later, you hear the story, and the story is all about how they were victimized. Not the stuff that they ignored the person, let's say the person cheated on them, but they ignored the person, took their relationship for granted, they were bitching all the time. And so this person just decided to blow it up because they were done. And that's how they blew it up. That's how a lot of it goes, right? Nothing personal, nothing against you. But it can help you when you begin to process and say, I'm not a victim to that relationship. I'm going to take 100% responsibility, and I'm going to see and identify and resolve those things in that I did not do in the relationship that I should do in my next one to prepare myself to be a better partner. And what does that look like? See, identifying and resolving these difficult emotions, and you can do this yourself. You pull those out of you, identify them, gain clarity on what emotion you're feeling. Find the difficult emotion, find it. And then make a commitment that you're going to not push it away and that you're going to work on, through your higher self, you're going to work on changing that negative belief into a positive one. As cliche as it sounds, you're going to find the silver lining. What does the silver lining look like for you in this? How did you learn to love? You're going to write this down. How did I learn to love in this situation? Well, this situation was so horrific for me that I would never do that to somebody else. Okay, that's a start. What else did you learn? Find things that you learned in a bad situation. Well, I learned, that I probably, I was taking my partner for granted, and I was kind of being a little bitchy, and I was super busy working, and so I would text them and tell them I was going to be late all the time. And I remember one time, I really remember one time they had made a special dinner, but I couldn't make it. And then we were supposed to have a movie night, and I didn't make it. And this isn't about you feeling guilty about it. It's the past. It's done. It's over with. Next. All this is oh, okay. Well, here's the reason why. So this victim feeling that I'm feeling is really not the victim. I'm not a victim of my past. I have the ability inside of me to change right now and be in the present moment. I can be a totally new Jason. That's what I always say. Oh, that was 10 Jasons ago, or 3 Jasons ago, or 20 Jasons ago. I'm a new Jason. Your whole body does that. I think it's every 7 or 8 years, every single cell in your body, you're like a new person every 7 or 8 years. Every cell in your body, brand new person. I always see, I was watching a thing the other day, and they were talking about suicide. And I encourage you, there's tons of hotlines online. Google it. If you're suicidal, and I've been there. I attempted suicide multiple times when I was homeless, and just feeling like shit all the time, didn't know what to do, had no hope, had no purpose. And I'll do a podcast on that. But you see it, whether it's someone that's homeless and destitute, or whether the rich and the famous. You just see so much unhappiness in the world. And people self-sabotage their own happiness. They want to fill that void that's inside of them. And they use external things, whatever that may be, to fill it. And the only answer is to love yourself. Have an affirmation. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Look in the mirror. And force yourself. You're going to feel weird because you're not used to, and say, I love you, Jason. I love you, Jason. I love you. I want you to do that. I want you to stop the podcast and go to a mirror, or you're in your car. Make sure you stay safe. Kind of look in the mirror a little bit. And I want you to tell yourself that you love you. I love you. And use your name. And say it 3 to 4 times. And mean it. And feel the heart, the emotion in the heart. Feel that positive feeling that you feel inside of yourself. It's not narcissistic to do this. It's healing. It will heal you. Because when you begin to love yourself, guess what happens? That transmute, that vibration of love, which is the highest vibration, transmute to others. And it begins to change relationships. It begins to change the way how you lead and the way that you work and the people that are around you that you influence. It changes everything. Make a commitment for 30 days to say in the mirror, and put a little tag in your mirror in your bathroom or whatever when you get up in the morning. 4 times, 3 to 4 times, I love you. And watch what happens.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Aware Leader Podcast with host Jason Rigby. We hope this episode has inspired you to unleash your full potential and embrace your inner leadership. By expanding your consciousness, you can transform your mind, body, and soul and become the remarkable leader you were always meant to be. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with your loved ones and help us expand our community. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again on the Self-Aware Leader Podcast.